Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode. We got ish to say an everyday vibe podcast. I'm your host Amanda, and I'm your host Kay, and we have a guest. You know we love guests, and we got a special treat for you today. LPC Deanna Hatcher is here with us today. Is it LPC? Okay, and different. And if you guys don't know what an LPC is, I'm going to tell you. And Deanna is also going to give you a lot of insight today. That is a licensed practicing counselor, professional. Yeah, sorry. A licensed professional counselor. So, you be sitting on the couch and they say, so tell me about that. And you guys know on this show, we absolutely always stress and believe in your mental health and therapy. We have talked about it before. So it was only right that we brought somebody here also where it's not just us talking off the side of our necks. They hear the facts. These are the facts. We brought the professional in. We got the professional today. And she gonna get y'all together. Exactly. So obviously we talked about her. But Deanna, go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience.
Thank you so much, ladies. Again, my name is Deanna, and I am a licensed professional counselor. Have been a licensed professional counselor for feels like a lifetime, quite a number of years. I specialize in anxiety and stress management and
Okay.
uh, dealing with folks with everyday problem circumstances and situations. It's pretty much what my life work is. A cussing therapist, I have to warn my patients and my clients that I am transparent, true self. What they see is what they get. So,
We love it. Absolutely. That's what we're all about. The authenticity. Show up real. Don't pacify me. Straight to the point.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I also invite them to be themselves, to be true and authentic, because that's the way you get down to it and you get things done.
Yeah. I like that. That's great. And that's how we get things done on podcasts. That's why it's
Right.
called We Got Shit to Say. And she got some shit to say to y'all today. I hope y'all ready. Today, we have decided that we are talking about, we wrapped the topic up for you in a pretty bow. So, what's our present? Our conversation today is to forgive, but don't forget that I'm dead and going through emotional wounds. That's real deep. And Deanna's going to get real deep into that. Like she said, she is a licensed professional counselor, and these are the things that she talk about on a daily with her patients. And we're going to have fun, but we also going to get a little deep.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
The only way to get through something is to go through it. You grow through it. We gonna get straight to it because y'all know me. K kind of nice one. I'm real straight to the point. Just so we're clear.
So, do the two of you have any questions before we get into the topic at hand?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. Can you tell us just a little bit about why you decided to become a professional counselor?
Oh man, let's see. How much time we got?
Take it good. Yeah.
I'm gonna try to make an incredibly long story short. I actually did not pick being a licensed professional counselor. It actually picked me.
Wow.
I actually started out pursuing a career in health administration. And
Okay.
and so I decided to take an elective class on my way to grad school in rehabilitation counseling. So I'm a rehabilitation counselor by trade. That's a person who works with individuals with disabilities, prepare for, find, and maintain employment. That's what my degree says. But when I took this course, the gentleman who was teaching it happened to be the grad advisor for the counseling department at the school that I went to, which was the University of Alabama, Birmingham, not that one down the road. In case you all aren't able to tell, I am Southern. So I know y'all can tell from the accent, but I just decided to let y'all know
Thank you.
that. So when I took this class, he took me aside and he said, "Hey, we don't have many people of African American descent in the counseling field." This is an old white guy.
Oh wow.
Yes. And he said, "We need good people in the program to provide these services because it's a very needed service, especially in our area, but throughout the country. He pretty much sold me and recruited me into the counseling program at my school. And that's pretty much how it happened. And
That
Wow.
professor. Wow. Exactly. That's amazing.
And
Truly incredible because he saw the need and then he saw the answer to the need and was like, we got to mesh the two. Like, it's got to happen. I love that. And thank you for your yes because sometimes people get offers like that. And exactly. It's denial, it's fear, it's I don't really know if I want to touch that. So even your yes is a huge win because
yeah. This kind of was a little detour in the journey because I'm thinking I'm going to be some hospital administrator making buku money and driving whatever I want to drive kind of thing. And it didn't work out that way. I'm not broke, but
yeah, let's put that. Come on now, right there.
but I'm not Beyonce either. So
Nobody.
we all want Rihanna's money.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. So that's how I came to be where I am today. So he's retired now, older white gentleman who said, "Look, we need you. Come on." And here I am. And I've had so many of my patients tell me it is hard finding folks of minority descent, not just African, but Latina or Latinx, other minorities as well. So I get all types of ethnicities that seek out my services because one, of course, I'm a Black female and I don't normally present as your traditional counselor. They feel a lot more comfortable with me. I already have to express to them, look, this is a no judgment zone.
Yeah.
Whatever you got, if I ain't never seen it before, you'll be the first one.
I love that. It's already hard for Black people to go to the doctor just for physical illness, but mentally and emotionally, it's amazing to have somebody that look just like you and you can relate. And then on top of that, yes, you're licensed, you're a professional, but like you're being a person. Yeah. When you allow them to show up as themselves too, so you can open up the conversation. I actually had an appointment with a therapist yesterday and I didn't go because he's a white man. And I'm gonna give him a chance. This will be my my first time as an adult seeking therapy. But I'm hesitant because I'm like, he's a white man, like in his 50s. My day. I would prefer to see someone who looks like me and they can more so relate to what I'm gonna talk about or whatever is gonna come up. But thank you for putting it out there because you're right. We don't, especially Black people, minority people, it's not a lot of professionals that look like us that are in that space to make us feel comfortable.
Now, don't get me wrong. My white counterparts, a lot of them, they are very good at what they do. Don't
Yeah.
about that. However, many of them have great intentions, but some of them aren't privy to some of our emotional wounds that we have.
Exactly.
And I'll give you an example. Now, a type of emotional wound that we come in contact with that quite often is injustice. We see it on social media all the time. We see it on the news all the time. And
Grocery,
huh?
the grocery store.
Yes, exactly, exactly. And a lot of folks some of my paler colleagues are not privy to some of our experiences. We call that white privilege.
Yeah.
And they haven't experienced what it's like to be profiled. And that could be traumatic to be profiled.
Yeah.
Cop pull you over and can't give you a legitimate reason as to why they pulled you over. You DWB, driving while Black.
Yep.
A lot of my counterparts can't really relate to that. They can be present with you, but they can't relate to experiencing that. They can't relate to what that feels like.
Right.
That can stay with you.
And even when it's starting at a very young age too, like I'm about to be 29 at this point. I can still remember my mom and I being followed around in stores by people for no reason, and so that stays with you because it does, and so, yeah, that's absolutely correct. They cannot relate. Yeah.
And you were mentioning when you were a kid, you have some teachers out there that talk to our kids like, okay, you have a certain level of expectation as far as how far they're going to get in life. It's, oh, okay. You want to be an engineer? Oh, no, you can't be an engineer. You might want to look at being, I don't know, a mechanic or something. So that's not what I said I wanted to do, lady.
Exactly. Profiling. Yeah.
And something like that sticks with you. I think even Steve Harvey talk about what his teacher did to him when he was growing up, elementary school. He said he wanted to be a movie star or something like that. And that teacher told him, "How dare you?" And this man is in his 60s. That is still with him today.
Yeah.
So thinking about and being aware of things that has happened to you over the course of your life, a lot of times it's yeah, okay, that that happens. That's a part of life, but it still had an impact on you. You just can't set that aside. And it still affects you in a way to where you make certain decisions at pertaining to what happened to you. Like, you got a lot of kids out there that probably said, okay, Miss Johnson said, there's no way I could be an engineer or computer science. Let me see about doing something else. Even if parents even do it.
Yeah.
Those of us who
Yeah.
wanted to be artists or filmmakers or something in the creative space, hey, you can't make no money doing that. And besides, your black ass, they ain't gonna let you do none of that stuff there. Hollywood, in case you haven't noticed, is white. You better get you a trade or something, learn how to do something so you can take care of your
Do some here and work on the car.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep,
Go learn how to play a sport. You know?
yep. And my kid is, yeah, okay, yeah, he's 6, 7. Oh, but can't dunk to save his life. He right up here with the gold. But he more than likely is good at designing video games or something. Very smart. But when the world look at us, the last thing that many of us think is smart. Even us.
Yeah.
Even us. So when it comes to emotional wounds, those can be rooted in rejection. How many of us have dated somebody, was really into somebody, and got rejected in some way, shape, or form?
Oh, yeah. We just had an experience last night. One of our friends, she's not the most mentally stable person, and she had got rejected. And so she met turned her whole night around, literally. Emotional wound based on past rejections and past relationships. But that is very interesting that you bring it up because that's a real thing. A lot of people don't know how to handle rejection. It's like a slap in the face, like a real slap in the face. Okay, so while we're on that though, sorry. No, go. While we're on that though, how as a professional, how do you talk to someone about having these emotional wounds and rejection, like per se, right? Talking about if we have an emotional wound and rejection and we know that we need to deal with it. We absolutely that's something we need to talk about, we need to deal with. We need to probably dig deeper and honestly poke the wound a little bit more to find the real root of it. But then how do you address that with people who are also obviously very in this world and the world is telling you it doesn't matter. Rejection doesn't matter. Rejection is like sometimes like you're propelled to like success and like, who cares? Every no just builds up your wall even more. So now no's will just bounce off of you. Like, how do you counteract someone who is so that's fine. I have all the walls in the world because I've taken so much rejection that they don't deal with the root of the rejection and why it does actually affect them.
That's a very good question. Sometimes you have to let people go through the process. They
Mm.
I don't know if you all are familiar with this saying, "There's no lesson like a bout lesson."
Something similar, yeah.
Really? Wow.
Just a little bit, a little bit. I'm from St. Louis, so I didn't heard some things.
What that basically means is they gotta learn for themselves. You can give people information, but what they do with it is what they choose to deal with it, how they choose to use it. But if you have educated them, you've done your part. That's all you can do is provide knowledge, provide education, and you've planted the seed. A lot of times they'll come back around to it. Might take them a little bit, might take some folks longer than others, but you have done your part in providing, okay, hey, it's okay to deal with what happened. It is okay. That's the first thing. Next thing is the education part. Those kinds of things have an impact. It's only human. You're only human. They're going to have an impact. And it's going to take you some time to deal with it. That's just life. You just got to. Now, I've heard some women say you got to pull yourself up by your big girl panties and all of that kind of stuff. Okay, all right. Yeah. But there's a process in pulling your big girl panties up. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's said than done. When you have been dating somebody for, even if it's a short period of time, you've put your time, your energy, your heart
Yep.
into a relationship and it don't work out. It especially don't work out like you planned. You have developed a mental picture of what's going to happen with this relationship. Many of us, if the relationship is going well, we done already picked out the wedding dress, then seen the wedding fly,
Yeah.
the picked out the
Yeah.
venue, all of that. We done seen ourselves going down the yeah. And you have seen the whole thing unfold in your mind and it don't work out. That's a process you have to grieve. That is a vision you've seen that is not going to happen. You just can't
Yeah.
put that aside.
No,
Huh?
you can't. It's like that's real. That's reality to you.
What?
That's all you know.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. This is something that you have trusted in. And they don't tell them what kind of lies done happened or have been told, what kind of deception has taken place, what kind of cheating has happened. You haven't taken into account any of that stuff that's happened.
Yeah.
So that's something that you have to hold space and give yourself time to adjust to and create other mental pictures. That right there, not going to be your husband. You're not going to have 2.5 kids, or your wife. You're not going to have 2.5 kids with this person. That's not happening.
Yeah.
But they have to first learn that it's okay to be wounded, because a lot of us, well, especially when we look at Black women, we are expected to be strong. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, in order to be a strong Black woman, that means your strengths have to be tested
Yeah.
and you have to go through some things.
100%. So, in your practice now, you've been doing this for a long time. What point did you start to focus on emotional wounds? What was like, I guess, the turning point that you realized that this is something that needs to be brought to the forefront with your patient?
Oh, it didn't take me long to realize, because when people come to me with depression, and when I say depression, clinical depression, when there are chemical imbalances in the brain, sort of thing, there are triggers to this, to that kind of depression, as well as situational depression. And situational, okay, I got my heart broken. I have a toxic mother or absent father, or a toxic father and an absent mother, mean siblings. I was bullied from the time I was in first grade to 8. All these kind of things, wounds that happen to us that are unhealed. When we have unhealed wounds, they fly under the radar and they get infected. And even like physical wounds, when a physical wound get infected, you got to treat that thing a whole lot differently.
Yeah. Yeah.
A whole lot differently. And so when they could come to me for one thing, give you an example. I'm just stressed out. I'm stressed out. Oh, okay. All right. Stressed out at work. Okay, all right. And that might get that story the first session, but then second, third, fourth, 50th, 60th session, it's going to be about a lot of the things that have hurt them. All of a sudden,
Yeah.
the abusive partner comes out. All of a sudden, the childhood stuff comes out that they literally have not healed. Stuff comes up in therapy that folks have kept hidden and kept stuffed away for quite some time. And I'm the type of person, it might come across as nosy for some other folk, but it's my job to get down to the root of what's going on.
That makes you a big counselor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
2 questions for you, and so I'll space them out. I just think one for that.
okay.
Going well, let's do this one first. Well, like you just said, sometimes by session 4, 5, 6, once they really gotten in and decided to let down their walls, because I know even me, I was in therapy for about 3 years, and even though I got a lot out of it, it definitely helped to kickstart my growth and where I was
Mhm.
even that because of just the walls that I built to be so strong and to not let things really affect
Mhm.
me. I couldn't even let down my walls with like my therapist, who's literally just there to help me. That's her job. And it was like, even all the prodding and asking the questions, what happens if you get the same answer because you're annoying me? But that's a me thing, right? I couldn't let down those walls. But that's the thing. Like I think sometimes as you go through the process of working with a therapist and really talking to a counselor and going through your own stuff, you can start to see other people's stuff too. So it's like your lenses have been taken off. So now you see the lenses that are holding other people back. How do you then talk to someone or address them in a way to not point out their lenses or their setbacks to them, but to nudge them towards therapy? Because obviously, therapy, especially in the Black community, is more of like those topics where it's like you say therapy and people are like, for what? I can pray about it. I can go to church. I don't have to talk to anybody. What is a therapist or a counselor going to do besides prescribe me medication and make me crazy? There's just all these different comebacks. And I guess that's their way of protecting themselves, but it's not protecting them. It's hurting them. How do you address it properly to try and get them to see the value in it? Because that's a holdup.
You mean how do you address it from your perspective, you as an individual? Or
Yeah. So say that. No, how would I? Like, how would like someone as an individual, like if you see it, somebody say it's like your aunt or somebody, right? And you just see, honestly, I know the things that go on in our family and I see the different things that could be affecting you. And obviously, I don't want to say that, but it's like because I'm in the family, so I can see it, right? So, auntie, I really think you should try therapy. Therapy is great. Like, they're not, yeah, it does works. That's somebody's what's therapy.
it's kinda like when you get some cold medicine, and that cold medicine, it did you wonders. What you gonna do? You're like, "Look here, you get the sniffles, you need to go get you some Theraflu.
Flu.
You Theraflu." It hooked me up. And then, oh, no, at first sign I had to go get me some therapy. Hooked me up. Same thing with therapy. I know therapy can be taboo, but you talk about how it has benefited you. And speak to some of the things that are a concern in our community. I know here in my neck of the woods, it's look here, don't you be going over there telling them folk our business. We keep that in the family.
Yes. Yeah.
100.
What happens in the
And
house stays in the house. Don't tell my
oh,
business.
yeah. And another one you mentioned, I pray about it. I go to God and okay, all right. But God put things here. He worked through people and he used people to help bless you. If that's the approach you're gonna take. It's kinda like the saying where you say, "Okay, Lord, I'm a" story. I was trapped on top of a roof, the flood waters was rising, and the boats came by to get me, and, I said, "No, I'm a the Lord, I done prayed, the Lord gonna come. Lord gonna come and rescue me. Y'all go ahead on and go about your business." That's the first boat. Second boat, come on. No, y'all, they she waved them off too, but y'all going on about your business. Lord come to get me. Okay, you drown. You drowned in the flood. They gone up to glory, and they said, "Lord, I was waiting for you. I thought you was gonna come get me." They said, "Well, I sent 2 boats to come get you."
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So it works this way too. God works through people. God works through situations. So if you are not open to using the things that God has put here, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
That's the first thing. Second,
I see good. How you supposed to hear if you're not
that
that's
that's right.
good.
Lot of folk. I want to win the lottery, and they bought lottery ticket the first.
But still falling their back.
You gotta do your part first.
Yeah. Yes, you want to heal, but you don't want to seek help. You want to get rid of that illness, but you don't want to go to the doctor. Same thing with your mental health. Deanna just talked about situational depression and clinical depression, and they both need assistance. You need a doctor to help you through the clinic. You might need medication. And then if you have situational depression, you broke up, you got rejected, you lost, your mother wasn't there. It's still important to seek that same type of assistance. You won't be deemed as crazy or out of your mind. I'm trying to get my mind back healthy. So I'm glad that you used that analogy and also told us about clinical and situational depression because I feel as Black people, we don't want to claim nothing. Oh, you all right? I'm good. I'm good. Oh, you looking a little nasty behind the scenes. Yeah. They don't want to be depressed. They don't want to be bipolar. They don't want to be like mentally. They don't want to be none of that. And it's like you're functioning in these in this way that you're just like bringing more stress onto your body. I mean, talking about emotional wounds, you said like it starts a lot of the time. It does start through childhood because we go through so many things. So in your practice, in your patients, I'm not really sure what your demographic is, but is there like a theme that you usually see with the type of people that you help? That's like emotional wounds, themes of emotional wounds that you see with the folks that you help.
I did. The thing that draws people to me is my specialty. I said, look, I work with folks who I specialize in stress and anxiety. And that's a lot of what's going on today. And anxiety and depression, these two things go hand in hand. We don't know which one of these came first. Were you depressed and therefore developed some anxious feelings as a result of that depression, or were you anxious and developed some depressive symptoms as a result of the anxiety? We don't know, but these two can coexist. And so the stress and anxiety specialty, because I'm what you call a cognitive behavioral therapist.
Okay.
Cognitive behavioral therapy is my theoretical approach. And basically what that means in a nutshell is I try to help change how people think. Because a lot of times how you think about things, the messages you tell yourself govern how you behave.
Yes.
So if you tell people are so mean, nasty, ugly to themselves. They say defeated people, y'all stop putting yourselves down. This thing right here that's in the middle of your face with the teeth and the tongue, that it is a powerful thing. It can be used to uplift people and empower people, or it can be used to cut people down. Either way. And that includes yourself. Because we say mean things about ourselves. We say, "Oh, man, I'm so ugly. I'm never gonna amount to anything. I can't get anything." And sometimes we say this stuff reflex. "Oh, man,
Yeah.
I'm so stupid." Oh, stop doing that. Stop doing. There is power in the words that come out of your mouth, even when it's about yourself.
Yeah, we promote positive self-talk over here. Yeah. I'm a meditator. I'm a prayer.
All right now.
I practice positive affirmations.
Yes. Yes.
I was like, and I'm a prayer and a personal development person. So I do a lot of personal development, just like seminars and work and whatnot. And so I haven't got to the affirmations yet. I definitely need to do better about that. But I am a big, like, I know that like your head and heart are very connected. Your heart hears everything that you say. And even though your heart is a huge organ, obviously, to keep you alive, it's also it's an organ that can be manipulated. It only has one response. Okay. So whatever you tell it, it's just gonna say okay to. Yeah. We definitely talk about that over here because we know, we see it, we have it in our friend group. Literally. Yes. Everything you just said, I was like, wow, this is a flashback. We 6 hours. Literally. Literally, like rejection is God's protection. What more do you want from me, girl? I'm trying to help you here.
Yeah.
But like you said, it takes for you to be ready to receive it in order to understand and believe it. So I'm like, there's only so much you can say and do it. And even as a therapist, you can talk and you can prescribe and you can give all the lessons and homework for them. But if you're not ready to receive it and actually take those steps, then these are the tools that you need when you're ready.
A lot of people that work working on self, it's work and it's hard work. It is not easy to go places that you have really kind of put away, that you avoid because you don't want to feel the pain that you felt when you was in that place. I know we've talked a lot about rejection, but other sources of emotional wounds, abandonment, that's a big one.
Oh, yes.
Abandonment shows up, it manifests in so many different ways. A lot of times it is as a result of our relationship or lack thereof with our parents or authority figures in our lives. With Black in our community, we have extended family. We have uncles and aunts, and when Aunt Betty stop interacting with us, that can hurt. That can hurt.
Yeah.
Abandonment could come from friends. In high school, we could have been tight as thick as thieves.
Yes.
But that friendship kind of fall by the wayside, and you might feel like, no, what happened? What happened? They just left me hanging. That could have an impact. It's like we've been ace coon bones since we were kindergarten in the sandbox, and
Yeah.
where they, I'm going through some shit, and she ain't nowhere to be found. He ain't nowhere to be found.
Hey y'all,
I'm Kay,
I'm Amanda,
and we're your hosts of We Got Ish to Say
and Everyday Vibe
podcast. We just wanted to drop in and say, don't forget to join our community.
and Everyday Vibe.
In this community, you have access to
So much more. Do it.
Do it now.
Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it now.
And I've been there for you. I've been there when you had this. I don't deserve the same treatment.
That's it.
So what makes you so different? Why can't you?
Almost. See, now you're knocking on the door of another source of emotional wounds, and that's betrayal.
Oh,
Betrayal. Now that one there, it can get nasty too. Where this was my best friend or my sister, sibling, whoever, and when that person that meant so much to you, that was close to you, betrays you, that can get rough.
oh yeah. I didn't be not badly. But no, mine see like this. We close than I don't know what. Closer than me and my mama. And then here we go. You want to betray me. I don't know what.
And betrayal is something, it don't have to be extreme. Oh, okay. My partner cheated on me with my best friend. It ain't gotta be that extreme. It
No.
it could be something as simple as, okay, it was me and you buddies, and now you done got another friend that you spend more time with. I feel betrayed because should nobody's friendship come before me. I'm the number one friend. There's some people out there that feel that way. So they feel betrayed because their best friend is hanging out or spending more time with somebody else.
Yeah. I wonder about, I guess you would know, like in your practice or what is your opinion around like grief? Does grief come up as an emotional wound? And the only reason I ask that is because for me personally, I always only attach grief to when somebody passed away. It's, oh, someone passed away, you're grieving. I never until, to be completely honest, probably like 2 weeks ago, started to see grief in a different way as like, really, grief is just like the loss of a connection, and that could be to anything, anyone. And so I think a lot of times people may be actually in a grieving state and they could be there for years and maybe not even realize that or title it that. So is that something that you think comes up for people or do you see it come up for people as like an emotion?
All the time. All the time. And you are absolutely right. It is a loss. And it's not just a loss associated with the loss of an individual through death. It could be a loss of a marriage or a relationship, a friendship, even a pet. Y'all, my boxer passed away. I was at work when I found out my boxer, this dog here, wow. And it hit me like a ton of bricks to the point where I had to tell my boss, look here, I got to go. I'm finna take the rest of the day off. And I think I took the next day off too. Cause I lost.
Yes.
Huh?
Yeah.
It,
Family. Your dog is your
Right.
family.
depend on that dog better than some of my kinfolk. Yeah. So any form of loss, that is a part of having an emotional wound too. So you're absolutely right. And that's something to be mindful of. And here's another thing about grief too and loss. There's no time frame on that either. A lot of times people put a time frame on how long. Okay, all right. I lost my husband, so I got to be in grieving for a year. Says who?
Right.
Who put that standard? Who put that time frame? Or it could be the other way around. It could be year 2, year 5, and people say, "Oh, you need to get over that." Wait a minute, who are you to dictate to me how long I am to grieve my loss? This is my
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
What I'm experiencing right now is with my partner's family, they just lost their grandfather, and a lot of them haven't even started the process of grieving. And so that's where we are right now is when do you feel like you can start? Because, like, you got to deal with the burial, you got to do all these other things
Yeah.
to finish the
Mhm.
process. So it's like you don't think about the part where you need to grieve, and it just hits you like a ton of bricks. Like it's gonna be what August, December when you finally realize, oh, I haven't even started my process yet.
Yeah.
You probably actually have started and don't realize it because there are 5 stages in grief. And they're not stages where it's okay, I'm gonna go through this first and then this. You can ping pong off of these 5 stages. And those stages can be denial. Just wait a minute. This has not happened. And there's no predetermined time that you're gonna be there. Then it could move on to bargaining. Lord Jesus, I serve you to the day I die. If you just bring back whomever that was, bring back my mom. I'd be your servant. I go to church every day, Lord. If you just bring back, if you just do this for me. Or there's depression. People get really sad and they don't wanna do anything. When I say do anything, I mean something as simple as getting out of the bed in the morning.
Yeah.
That phase happens. And then there's anger. People get mad at people dying. They're like, "Look, I ain't got no control over that." But that is a legitimate emotion to have when you're grieving. You can be angry at the person that died. You can even be angry with God. It's okay. That is a part of the process. And then there's
That's so because I feel like no one would want to admit that they're like angry
Oh
at the
yeah.
person who passed away. Like honestly, I personally experienced that. Like I lost my dad, I think it was 6 years ago now,
Mhm.
2016. And truly, like I know I literally never took the time to like breathe to deal with it. Like I know that I absolutely like just stuffed everything and was like, I have no choice but to grow up and handle
Mhm.
business. But yeah, it wasn't until probably a year ago I was like, I'll be completely honest. I'm actually angry at my dad for like the things that like he left after he passed away, the things that he didn't do while he was living, the things that happened like during the transition of getting sick and like he allowed his family members to do. Actually, but it sounds so bad to say that. One, it's my parents. Two, it's like the man has passed away. What you mean you mad at him? You angry? Like what? So yeah, and then I feel like that becomes the other part of an emotional wound, right? Now I'm beating up on myself because that sounds so bad. How dare you?
Exactly. Exactly. Instead of giving yourself the space to feel that emotion. There may be shame along with that, but it's okay. Yeah, I'm mad. I'm mad he left this world. I'm mad he left at the time he left. I'm mad that he left. I'm just mad. And while I'm talking, Lord, let me talk to you. Look that out with you too.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
No,
not feeling some kind of way because you feel some kind of way. It all starts with the messages that you tell yourself. Because you can feel this and still say, man, what kind of daughter does that make me that I am having this kind of feeling? It makes you a good daughter.
yeah. Makes you human.
There you go. That's it.
Yeah.
One other aspect of emotional is humiliation.
Oh.
Yes, we see it in social media all the time where
Yeah.
people get bullied on social media. They get demeaned. They get disrespected. They get talked about. All kinds of things. And people are braver on social media. and they get ugly, nasty, vicious, malicious, all behind some little picture, some little profile picture of a little innocent looking kid. And and, and you saying the most vile things to people on social media. So humiliation, it can cause a deep emotional for a lot of people. And you don't know how to deal with that. It's, oh my God, people have put my innermost thoughts, feelings, things that happened back in childhood or whatever the case may be. You done put the most embarrassing thing out there for everybody to see. Or you have embarrassed me in so many different ways in front of the whole time.
Now they
And
laugh about
exactly.
it.
They laugh about it. They demeaning about it. So yeah, to the point where people have gotten suicidal when it comes vicious, vile things that people have said on social media.
Yeah. I want to talk about that a little bit more because, of course, I only know the Black experience, but I feel as Black people, we operate in this
Hmm.
space a lot. And not to be mean or malicious to each other, we talk about each other a lot. We say things like, she was back and doing this and that. Like, we say a lot of that stuff to each other that stick, especially when you were a kid. You hear certain things from your parents or your mom be on the phone. Yeah, girl, she was out there doing blah, blah, blah. That's it. I'm business and I feel like me in front of my grandma, my granddad, or, I'll whoop you out in the middle of the street. I'll cut you because you have to pay. I feel as Black people, we use pain and hurt to teach a lesson. And it's getting old at this point. I mean, I know, Deanna, like, you're a little older than us. Our generation, we've been out here, look, we can't operate in that space no more because it's not healthy. It's causing a lot of pain and triggers, and that's why we got all these emotional wounds that we trying to heal. But I'm so glad that you brought that up about humiliation, 'cause especially with a big audience like social media, it's now like a entertaining thing. Like, you are trying to do stuff to put people in pain, like these pranks and all this other stuff that's going on. Like, it's causing like more pain.
Because we type like comedy.
Yeah.
Like,
We're
I'm like,
comedy.
or it's almost just like comedians when they have like roast battles. They really be roasting each other. They're truly and twist how they're still supposed to take all of that in, laugh about it, and then be able to shoot a line.
Yep.
Cut in deep. And you went home and thought about it. You know, write in your journal. Right.
Now, write in your journal. That is powerful too, but not everybody are writers. But
Yeah.
it just depends on what. See, when comedians do it, they already have an understanding of where that's coming from. Number one. But you don't know me from Adam's cat, and you saying some shit about me that you got no business
Right.
saying. Or you say it in the spirit to hurt me. Like, for example, we all grew up together. You've known me since we've known each other since elementary school. And something, we all have embarrassing times. Okay, you had a mishap when you was in the 4th grade. You didn't make it to the bathroom fast enough. And that's a traumatizing experience for somebody that's 8 years old and all your peers see something embarrassing. And here I am, I'm 30 years old, and you bring this up in front of
Right.
everybody. It's shoot. I ain't got I'm probably still wounded from that experience from being in elementary school. That is not something that I won't put out to the public. So something like that.
Yeah.
Or, oh, this happened or that. Some of the most humiliating things that people go through and people use it as a weapon. It's not we best friends, you there for me, and I'm shucking and jiving with you about this, that, and the other. See, that's a different air to me than, okay,
Yeah.
you weaponized a thing that was humiliating to me rather than,
Yeah.
huh?
Or like having some type of power over that person. I'm like, I'm better than you, or you might be better than me in my eyes, but I'm gonna say something that's gonna humiliate you to make me seem like I'm better than you. Now that I feel like everybody on my team.
Right.
Another example is, especially in our community, the colorism that goes on. Dark skinned girls catch hell. It is, you hardly ever see darker skinned women being showcased or classified as beautiful. You don't. Everybody wants the lighter you are. I know in my area, there's a saying. There's always been a saying throughout history. If you light, you all right. If you brown, stick around. If you black, stay back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's crazy too is I feel like now because there are darker skinned girls, there are some that are like in modeling and doing all these things, and they absolutely are gorgeous and beautiful. But instead of it just being classified or them being like they're gorgeous, they're beautiful, it's like, oh, they're exotic.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's like the new label saying that we don't really love this, but yeah, we're gonna give it a nice label so that you seem okay.
Because they must be from Africa or they must be from the Dominican. They can't just be a brown skinned girl that's from California.
Oftentimes you get fetishized. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I will say this, even though I'm in between, I saw a documentary. I can't remember what network this is on or what streaming service this is on, but it is featuring light-skinned girls and the pain that they go through, particularly women who are biracial that identify as Black, and they talk about their struggles with not being accepted in the Black community because you're not dark enough, and not accepted in the white community because you are right. Right. And there's some pain there. And people use that to humiliate and demean and put people down too. Something as simple as
Definitely. We do it to each
Mhm.
other so much. Although I don't date light skinned women. I don't
That-
date dark skinned women or whatever. Or I don't want to have dark babies. What are you talking about? Or I want to have dark babies. Khalida, it's you're
yeah.
not a man.
There's a movie like that. What's that old school movie? Oh my gosh, there's an old school movie like that. The girl, her mom, like her mom's Black, maybe like my complexion and whatnot, but she ended up being very light enough to pass as white, and yes, thank you. Imitation of Life. Yes.
Oh, okay.
That movie, I feel like that was like the first portrayal of that I ever seen where it was like, oh my gosh, yeah, like you're light enough to be right, but let them find out you're Black, and a whole different side of these people and world comes out, and it's whoa. So yeah,
A very good movie. It's a tearjerker.
I'm so glad that we're talking about this. Like, now that we understand emotional wound, what's the healing process? What's the tools that we need in order to get through to the other side?
forgive them ourselves.
What we need to do.
Yeah. I think we've covered quite a bit of the different aspects of emotional wounds. And Khalida, you asked about what's the first step in healing? For one, awareness. Emotional wounds, they fly under the radar. You don't really know it's there per se. You thought, okay, I'm done with that. I haven't even thought about that in years, and something happens. Give you an example that I can think of off the top of my head. Women who have been sexually abused in their childhood, they think, okay, they never got any therapy about it or for it, and they move on with life. They meet the man of their dreams, get married, have children. Child is a girl. All of a sudden, this girl, she is coming up on her 8th birthday, example. Turns out that's a trigger. All of a sudden, mama is having some difficulty with adjusting to daughter growing up. Don't really know why.
Yeah.
What in the world is going on with you that you are having some issues with your daughter's stage in life? And that normally is the case. If that's what's happening, that emotional wound that trauma has been floating under the radar.
Yeah.
So being aware of the things that's happened over your course of life and say, okay, all right, am I really past that? Okay, maybe I need to process this with somebody because if it still make you mad, then more than likely there's some unresolved pain that's there. That wound ain't quite scarred over yet.
Right. Yeah.
So that's the first step. Second step would be forgiveness. Because a lot of times there's somebody associated with that emotional wound, be it a partner, an ex-partner, be it a parent, be it a sibling, whomever that may be. Forgiveness. And that's we could spend a whole nother session on just forgiveness alone.
And it's hard. Like, she can't forgive you. You did this to me. You hurt me. And it hurts so bad because it's still been hurting for 50 years.
That's right.
I'm hurting. I ain't got over it.
Never dealt with it. Never let it go.
Take it to my grave.
That's it. That's it right there. I don't know if you all are familiar with this movie, but Color Purple, when she said, till you do right by me,
You know? And think about,
Yeah.
yeah, yes. And the way you start preparing yourself to forgive is first being aware of who the forgiveness is for. That's not them. It's not to excuse the person who offended you or who wronged you in any way. It's not for them. It is for you. It is for you to have peace in your mind, in your spirit, in your heart. For this not to continue to stress you out, make you angry, make you depressed, or anything like that. That's what that's for. And a way to start doing that is look at it in a different way. Reframe how you think about it. Give you an example. I have a lot of examples, y'all.
I love it. Yeah, exactly. We need them. We can keep up with the conversation. You can what's going.
Do both of you have a favorite fruit? Either one of you have favorite fruit?
Mine is cantaloupe.
And you like,
no.
what you said? Pineapple. Okay.
Pineapple.
Pineapple. What do you like so much about pineapple?
It's sweet. It's juicy.
And what do you like about cantaloupe?
I like that it's primarily like a water fruit, so same thing, makes you feel hydrated. It's sweet, and I just think it's like the best summertime fruit.
All right. Okay. So, what are the fruits that you like the least?
The least I would say for me is probably kiwi.
Okay. All right. What about
fruit that I like the least? I like
yeah,
all
but
of
there
them.
that I would think you like more than others.
Actually, my least is probably apples. I do not like apples like that. I'll eat the green ones, but I really don't like apples.
Okay.
I would say probably. I like them all. I just can't pick them. Like,
You like dragon fruit?
I do.
It
I
depends.
do. I like a lot of fruit.
You like papaya?
I love papaya.
I love
Would you take a papaya over a pineapple?
No, I would
pick
the pineapple. So,
okay. So just say for shits and giggles, yours gonna be papaya. Now, for different fruits. Although we see you like tropical fruit, but a papaya can't do for you what a pineapple does. That's why you choose the pineapple over the papaya. And like you, Amanda, an apple can't do for you what cantaloupe does. These are two different properties. It's basically two different fruits. Okay. People are the same way. We're all human. But they're different kind of humans here. We have people are different. And you have people out there who are not capable of giving you what it is that you need.
Yeah, just that.
Yeah.
Oh, because we be operating in a space that we are used to operating in, and we expect people to do the same thing that we would do, or we expect, and that's not the case.
Yeah.
Not the
So basically, place our expectations on other people, expecting them to do what we want or need them to do. But I feel like communication is always a struggle. Not
Yeah.
always. For some people, communication is a struggle. Me. Um, yeah.
And they don't know how because that's just not the way they operate.
They are
Wow.
not capable. An apple is not capable of doing for you what a cantaloupe can do. It don't have the capability. Don't taste the same. I don't care how you slice it, process it. Still gonna do what an apple can do. That so would you be
Wow.
mad at that apple because it didn't give you the flavor, the hydration, the taste that a cantaloupe did?
No. I chose the apple.
It's an
Purple.
apple.
Yeah,
Right?
Right.
Of course.
Right. So the same thing applies to, say, a toxic parent. This parent does not have the capability of giving you the love that you needed, that you deserved. This wounded sibling does not have the capability to have that sibling relationship that you need or that sibling connection that you need. They don't have the capability to do that.
That is so good. I feel like people, because we are family, we expect
Mhm.
to say, but you
They
supposed to love me. You're supposed to want to take care of me. And it's like you said, we're human. We're not all the same. So just because I'm a mother or I birthed you doesn't mean I know how to mother or even can be a mother. That's amazing.
Or even vice versa, I feel like, for like as children, like just because I was raised a certain way by you as a parent doesn't mean that now that I'm coming into my own adult person, that I am going to be able to offer or be the same person that I was as a kid or whatever the case may be.
Exactly.
That's good. I feel like are we struggling with
But I just feel like that's so hard. It's already hard enough in like friendships, relationships, whatever, right? But I feel like a lot of times, yes, when it's so close knit and it's family members and especially parents, there's just something about it that is so difficult. One, obviously, I'm gonna speak as like a Black person, a Black child. Like as in that community, I just feel like we're raised a certain way, right? Like, you respect your parents. A lot of times you're raised in church, so there's all these things of the church and the Bible and like what God says, honor your mother and your father. There's just so many things that are already like placed into you and programmed into like your DNA and the foundation of who you are. That when you start to grow and like have your own enlightening and opening your own mind, it's so hard to break out of that because everything feels like I'm doing wrong. Everything feels like I'm being disobedient or now I'm this or I'm that. So it becomes very difficult.
It does. It does. We're raised to feel like, okay, do as I say and not as I do. And if we express how we feel we're talking about a parent-child relationship, if we express how we feel, that's looked at as being disrespectful. So how do we internalize that? We start feeling, oh, okay, my feelings don't matter. And so if they don't matter, there's no point in me even saying what I feel or how I feel. And when I have it, at how I feel, I get punished for it.
And then as we go based on the child's experience, you carry that to adulthood, never forgiving your parent, never being able to really have a real bond or relationship with them because you hurt so many years when I just was being a child and having my own human experience, but you really didn't allow me to because you wanted me to govern under your humanness.
Implicated in other relationships because that's just what you know now. That's like your goal. Yeah.
You see it. Wow. So many
It is.
layers to these. A lot of layers to this forgiveness and emotional wound. When you were bringing up the scenario with the woman who experienced sexual abuse, it like clicked in when I was like, wait, emotional wounds is just like trauma. And we've been throwing the word trauma around all 3 years. Like 3 years. I'm about to just be like,
Emotional
rules
wounds.
around that because I like that better. I feel like when we say trauma, a lot of people be like, you were like physically or like sexually abused or something like that. But like emotional wounds and trauma are rooted in a lot of different things. So
Yeah.
I love that term, emotional wounds. I'm about to start really like putting that in my vocabulary.
Exactly. Language for the ailment, number one. And then by having language for the ailment, now I have the proper steps to know this is where my root is at. And yeah, start working through my awareness, my forgiveness.
Yes.
And like you said, just as hard as sometimes the self work is, the forgiveness, you might be there for a minute too, because
Yeah.
it's rough. So
It is.
Right.
It is. And I know we had mentioned self-care. It all begins, and there's so many layers to even that. There's so many different dimensions to us as individuals, to us as human beings.